Hi everyone, this is Fernando from AbyssalBrews, and today we're going to dive into the process for Roksja, a really cool armor. Matt's description for this armor calls for it to be made from basilisk hide. The other key point is that when the hood is on, the wearer can see through the basilisk eyes and turn people into stone. I hesitated on showing you these first few awful designs because they're frankly embarrassingly bad. But Matt and I pride ourselves in being open with the community, and that means showing you how we arrive at our final designs. The design I ended up with is a complex, layered armor with lots of elements on top of each other. Since this is to be used on a game, most likely as a reward for the players, I didn't want to do a full set of armor, even though it would have been easier to do the whole thing. I needed to make sure I didn't include gloves, pants, shoes, or headgear. I know the mask and the hood come close to that, but they're one element and it's part of the cloak. Since the description did call for a hood, I did take the liberty to add a cloak and not just a hood. So I'm sorry to players who already have a cool cloak that we're planning to wear with this armor. I'm sure you and your DM can figure something out. Starting from the top, we have a mask embedded to a hood. Since everything is made from basilisk parts, I imagine the mask is made from its bones. The cloak has a dark blue color and a red line pattern that matches the tribal paint on the mask in order to evoke a basilisk red spines. The brown leather duster and robe were just added to make it more visually appealing. The shoulder pad is made of 3 basilisk fangs mounted to some of the beast armor hide. It also has some basilisk teeth hanging from leather strips. There is only one shoulder pad because asymmetry gives the item a cool silhouette and makes it more interesting to look at by breaking monotony. The torso is mostly made of iridescent scales, and the arms are wrapped in leather from its hide, and everything is held together with different belts, ropes, etc. I chose to throw some ropes in there because they feel more organic and druidic than just adding more leather. Lastly, I gave the whole thing a worn, weathered look to make it look more ancient and legendary. I draw a lot of inspiration from video game art books. At first, it was a lot of Blizzard's World of Warcraft, but that has been copied to the point that it's no longer as exciting and original as it used to be. The crown jewel of my collection is the Darksiders 2 Artbook. I can open literally any page in the book and be blown away by an amazing piece of art that will be the highlight of any other book. Darksiders 2 is mostly designed or inspired by Joe Madureira. But whenever I work on fantasy art, specifically D&D or Pathfinder, I can't help but be inspired by Wayne Reynolds' fantastic designs. His characters are full of details in the form of different weapons and other gear layered all over their outfits. This level of detail is hard to come up with, but the way he balances it out without making his illustrations look too busy and overwhelming is what makes him a master and a constant inspiration. This item has a lot of detail, and I love that. I'm always careful not to add too much though, as that can overwhelm the eye and end up making the image look way too busy to the point that it's unpleasant. When designing complex items like this one, you should always have some big, open spots where there's not a lot of elements, layers, etc. This allows the viewer's eyes to take a break before moving on to the next area with a higher concentration of components. I love how this armor came out. It's my favorite item illustration I have done so far. You can see that I tried sticking with the basilisk color scheme, which frankly is a pretty limited palette. I explored turning the fangs into red spines, but the red really clashed with the other colors, so reverting back to fangs was an easy decision. Once I got over the hump from those initial bad sketches, the creativity really started flowing, and frankly the rest of this process went very smoothly and relatively fast. Most of these items take me about 5 hours to do on average. This one was closer to 9. All that's left is adding a bit of spell effects to the eyes to portray the basilisk's signature power. When it comes to these effects, subtle is always the best way to go. Thank you so much for watching this video. I've been told to remind you to slap the like button, leave a subscribe, smash the comments. I don't know, I just want you to be happy.